Da, 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 da. Okay. Hello, D-Law. How are you?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm excellent. I'm so excited that I didn't think you were going to say yes to doing this, to be honest. I thought you were
Why
going to,
not? Why
I
not?
don't know. I did because there's a lot of people that I ask and I'm like, you don't want to just sit and have a conversation with me? That's literally
Yeah.
all this is.
Well, we've only worked
Um,
together for about 8 years or so, I think.
God, has it? Yeah, 6. When did I
Six.
start?
Okay.
2014? When did you start here?
2013.
Holy moly. Yeah, it sounds like it was just yesterday, but it really was not just yesterday.
No.
Okay, so let me do my little intro. This is Off Pitch74 presented by the City of San Jose Environmental Services. We've got a sponsor. It's so exciting.
So,
And
well
I'm
done.
here with Derek Lawrance, who we call D-Law in the office. And D-Law, tell us what the heck you do for the Quakes.
Wow. I don't know. Do we have enough time? No, I'm
Yeah.
just
Oh, we
kidding.
got plenty of time. I'm ready.
No. My basic job right now, if you just want to get right into it, is a director of health and performance. It's something that I have worked my way up to throughout my 7 seasons here. I came on as an assistant athletic trainer, sat behind some very good head athletic trainers that led me, taught me quite a bit along the way, and learned a lot and soaked it all in, and was able to, grow into my own position here. And so that's where I'm at right now. But what is the director of health and performance, right? So, I mean, by trade, I'm an athletic trainer. That's my first and foremost, I guess, passion, you could say. But over the years of learning how sports science can be a big influence in athletic training world, not just in the strength conditioning and fitness stuff. I took a liking to that with our previous head athletic trainer and strength coach, and when we first got our GPS system in 2015, and had no idea what we were doing with it. It's just one of those things like, this is what everybody's got, so let's get it and try to figure it out.
That's the bras, right? The bras that
Yes,
they make. Okay.
correct. So took a couple years, took about 3 years to finally figure out what the heck do we do with it. And so since then, just trying to use it as a big tool to everything. Just we use it for all of our rehab. We use it for exercise prescription. And so because of my passion and education in that area, I guess, throughout the years, it's allowed me to oversee all the athletic trainers and the strength conditioning coaches now.
So
That's
long
kind of where I'm
story
at.
short, you're the guy who runs on the field when somebody gets when
Yes,
somebody
there you
gets
go.
hurt.
Yes.
I love watching the away games and seeing you running out there. I'm like, D-Law, dude, go get him,
Yeah.
Tiger.
That's one of my mini hats, I guess you could say, is making sure I can have my spray guy, help him get up and continue playing.
That's funny. I'm always like, in the back of my mind when I see you running out there, I'm like, and you guys are talking to it, is there ever a time when you're like, just get up, dude? You know you're not hurt. Like, quit faking it. Get up. You don't have to answer that. But in the back of my mind, I imagine you saying that to people.
Well, there's a lot of instances where, it's just part of the game. And a lot of the first question, or many times the first question is always, are you good? And as soon as they say yes, they still lay there like they're hurt. And you just say, all right, we're good.
Are you ever like self-conscious while you're running out? It's whenever I go to away games and I'm filming, you'll always see Sam B or like Taz or whoever else is out there. They'll like run out during their little pre-huddle right before kickoff. You'll never see me doing that because I do not want to look. Because I don't know, do I look good while I run? Do I not look good? Do I look like an idiot while I run? So you're not going to see me running onto the field because I'm so self-conscious about that.
Yeah. No, never have to worry about that. I mean, I know I look awkward anyways. I'm carrying 2 racks of water bottles, and I have like a sling bag on. So there's nothing graceful about it at all. And the most important part is just making sure you don't fall down or, do something terrible. But, honestly, when an injury happens, you pretty much zone everything out, to be honest with you. I mean, I've taken care of some guys that go down in Stanford, and I couldn't tell you that there's 50-some thousand people there. It's just me and that person having a conversation and just making sure I get all the information that I need to make sure that they're good to go.
Good answer, D-Law. Even if it's not the truth, good answer.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like such a player. I know.
I know.
Oh, I don't know the crowd's there. I just focus on the ball, right? Yeah, I just focus on the guy on the ground, but
It actually is
it kind of is
pretty
true.
easy to tune those people out, like when you're
Yes.
walking.
Although, I mean, there's been some times, on the road where you try to zone out the fans and you still get some, nice comments and gestures from the fans. And
Really nice.
I laugh at them because I'm just a guy carrying water bottles. Like,
Yeah.
what are you really gonna say that's gonna put me down in that situation?
Honestly, half the time it's a little stupid comment too. I was like, that wasn't even a good comment.
Yeah.
Like, come up with something better, dude.
Mhm.
So before this, I had never read your bio, the one that's
Okay.
on our website. Dude, you have been everywhere. Like kind of
Mm,
no, I feel
I don't know.
from what I was reading it kind of like tell me about, like when you decided that this is what you want to do and going to school and you've got your master's, right? You've got your
Mhm.
master's for this and like
Mhm.
and I didn't realize that you worked for Chivas USA also, which
Yes.
we won't hold against you or anything.
No.
Like
There's some good. I don't want
just
to say
tell
good
me about
stories from there,
that
but
journey.
so uh, I mean, it really started. Honestly, I can say back in high school of just wanting to be an athletic trainer. We were one of the first schools in my town in Southwest Virginia that had one, and I was like, "What in the world is this job?" Because you're able. I mean, I guess you're able to help people. Get them back on the field, and you take pride in when you can do that. So, and plus, it was a way to stay close to sports. If I wasn't going to be a professional athlete, which I sure as heck wasn't going to be one, so it's just my best way to stay near pro sports. And I just followed that journey throughout college. Going to James Madison University, which was a very big athletic training program. I have one professor, many professors from there that have been very influential in my life. And one had a very strong connection to DC United, and I was able to keep that connection. And then once I went to grad school to get my master's in exercise science, I could either do a thesis or I could do an internship for my degree. And this job, you're not a big bookworm, you're not diving into a lot of things. So hands-on experience for me was the way to go. And I was able to get a summer internship with DC United in 2008, and that went very well. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and again, made the connections, kept the network going. The head athletic trainer at DC United has been there since. He's what we one of the OGs, I guess you could say, of MLS. Brian Goodstein Goody. He's been around for a very long time, like Tampa Bay Mutiny time, and so his connections ran deep throughout the league, and just kept my focus there. Was able to get a job with collegiate soccer program out of Elon University, and just kept the connections and kept talking to people. And then lo and behold, something popped open at Chivas USA. And, I was sitting there living 29 years old, single in North Carolina, and there's an opportunity to go move out west into LA. So I went for it and I got it. But that was pretty cool.
How was that transition going from there to LA? Was that like a little bit of a culture shock?
It was pretty big. It was pretty big. I'd only been to California once, and that was for a conference. So it was literally off the plane and into a conference center,
Yeah.
convention center, and then to move a mile away from the beach. And I sold my car. I packed up 7 boxes, shipped them out, and flew on a plane, landed, bought a car, and moved into a random house. I'd never met the people, and there I was living in California, just trying to figure out what in the world do I do from here. And it worked out pretty well so far. So
And now you're here.
and now I'm here.
Woo!
It didn't last very long in LA, which I don't know if it was good or bad, but
Yeah.
ironically, the coaching staff that I worked with at Chivas USA is still doing very well in MLS. Greg Vanny, who is the assistant coach, head coach at TFC, has done pretty well. Obviously, Robin Fraser was a head coach at Chivas USA, went with Greg to TFC. They did all right there together, and now Fraser is at Colorado. So it's interesting to see how that group is still stuck around after all these years. Even Carlos Llamosa is the assistant coach at Chivas. Now he's with Portland, Timbers, and it's good to see those guys every now and then on the road.
Good. So let me ask you, since you're around the players all day, every day, who are some of the easiest players to work with? I won't ask you who is the hardest to work with, but like, I don't know. Give me like a little throwdown on like who's the easiest.
Easiest? I don't know. Shea Salinas, I guess, is one of the easiest guys. And reason for that is, he studied kinesiology when he was younger. So he has this drive to, he knows what he wants to do. And obviously he's taken care of himself well over the years. And so he just kind of comes in and just says, this is what I need. And some athletic trainers may see that as a bad thing. For me, he knows what he needs with his body. He's been a pro for over 10 years. And so that makes it a lot easier on me. He bounces a couple things off me. He'll, go seek some answers on his own, and we'll talk about it and decide what's the best path for him. But I would say Shea.
Dude, I love Shea. It took me a couple of years to realize how hilarious Shea is. Like, I think I kind of took him as a serious guy. And then once I really got to know him, I was like, dude, you are one of the funniest people on the team. He, even in the middle of, like when we were still on lockdown, I think right before the MLS's back tournament started, he texted me and was like, hey, I have a video idea. I was like, oh God, what is it? He was like, I just got chickens and I just made a chicken coop. We should do a cribs for my chickens. And I was like,
sounds about right for him.
That sounds about right. We never did it, but it's still on our to-do list. So maybe one day.
You need to. Unfortunately, one of his chickens did bite the dust, and the guys in the locker room bought him some nice stuffed chickens to replace it, and threw him a little, like a, I wouldn't say funeral type thing, but a celebration of life for little Fluffy.
Was it natural causes? He didn't eat it, did he?
No, he didn't.
Okay, good. I was like, I didn't want to ask. I was like, do you have these chickens to eat, or is it for laying eggs? Like, what is it for?
All for laying eggs. All for
that's
laying
cool.
eggs. I mean, it's a family of 5, so he's got to feed him something, and why not have eggs in the backyard that you can go grab for everybody?
That's hilarious. There's definitely a house that has chickens and a rooster somewhere around here because we hear them every once in a while. It's the funniest thing.
You should get Shea on for some dad jokes too. He's really good at those.
I know. Did you ever see the video of Wando and Shea doing dad jokes?
No, I don't think I did.
It's hilarious.
Right.
It's
I'll
so hilarious. Okay, Dila, so we're going to do a little game right now that I'm actually nervous about because I don't know how well I'm going to do with it. So yesterday we did like rapid fire questions. I interviewed Paul and Marco yesterday, and that turned out pretty funny. So I wanted to switch it up today and do word association, which so you're going to go first and you're going to say any word that comes to your mind. And then I have to come back and say a word that relates to it. And I don't really know how this is going to go. I've never played this before, but it sounded like maybe it could be funny.
Okay.
But we can't take like longer than like 5 seconds or else we're out. And then you can challenge my answer and be like, that's got nothing to do with that word. I don't know how this is gonna go.
I don't know either. I'm not quick. I'm not quick like this, and
not either.
So I don't know. Words aren't my
words
thing.
And we're done. Okay. I guess I'll time it. Maybe we'll like do this for like 30 seconds, and then.
All right.
Okay. Are you ready?
All right. So I gotta give you a word. Is that right?
You got it. Just give me a word, and then I gotta give a word right back. 3, 2, 1.
Work.
Play. No, that's got. Hold on. Let's start this over again.
Okay.
Hold on. I messed up already. Right. Okay. 3.
A word with what? Oh.
No, 3, 2, 1.
Togetherness.
Oh my God. You know what? I don't like this game. We're not going to play this game. We're going to do the rapid fire questions instead.
Right.
How does that
enough.
sound? I'm going to do the same ones that I did for Paul because those were hilarious.
Which Paul?
Okay. Paul Dewhurst.
Nice.
Paul, Mr. Hair Boy, because he's got the best hair ever right now.
He's let that thing go a little bit, hasn't he?
Oh my God, has he? But I love it. I'm like, do not cut that hair off. It looks so good. Okay. Are you ready, D-Law?
All right.
30 seconds. You just got to answer the questions as fast as you can. You ready? And 3, 2, 1. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you enjoy garlic?
6.
If you could push a button and make everyone in the world 7% happier, but it would also place a worldwide ban on all hairstyling products, would you push it?
Yes.
What's the most boring thing ever?
Paper.
What? Tell me what you like to do on weekends in a Valley Girl voice.
Hit the beach up.
How do you feel about cranberries?
No thanks.
Okay, time. That was great.
Hit the beach up. What the?
Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we will be right back.
At home or at the game, San Jose recycles clean. When getting rid of takeout containers, remember to place food and liquid soiled containers in the garbage. Placing dirty items in your recycling bin can make other clean items too dirty to be recycled. Visit sanjoserecycles.org to learn more about what can be recycled in San Jose. Remember, dirty takeout containers go in the garbage.
Welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of this wonderful 2020 year and COVID and how you have had to adjust so many things on your side.
Mhm.
I can't even imagine what you've had to do with the players and we're out for 3 months and then here we are, we're coming back, we're going to play a tournament. Like what like tell me everything, because I I would not have wanted to been in your position during all of this
Mhm.
craziness.
I think the toughest part of the entire process was just figuring out how do we stay safe, but how do we try to be as normal as possible?
Yeah.
And the bubble offered a slight opportunity to have that idea of being able to be as normal as possible, even though you're staying in a hotel without your family. But it was kind of ironic that the bubble was kind of like exactly how the world wishes they could treat the entire pandemic, is just literally shut out the virus. Now granted, the virus tried to get in, and they had some instances where they had to take care of that, but it did. And once those things got worked out, I mean, it was great. So how do you go into it all? Well, luckily the MLS has plenty of connections into the medical community, and they just came up with these protocols on the fly. And what I mean by the fly is, I mean, they didn't know what they're doing at first, and that's okay. It's just this is unprecedented, and they needed to figure out a way to get everybody out in the field, because this is it was possible. It definitely was possible, but just how? And so it was just protocols after protocols after protocols, and it's something that I've never done before, so it was quite the experience in its own. Just coming up with PowerPoint presentations and just being repetitive about washing your hands, washing equipment, hand sanitizing stations, temperature checks, social distancing, and just reiterating that all over the place. And just coming up with different levels. And obviously MLS had 3 different levels at first, and they pivoted a little bit. So it was like individual training was the first level, small group training was the second level, but that was socially distant small group training, and then small group training with some contact, and then it was level 3, which is the full team contact. Now, us being in Santa Clara County, we're fortunate enough to be in one of the more strict counties, because we have been very lucky here. I wouldn't say luck anymore. I mean, it's because of what they've done. Some people may not like it, but it's actually provided us with some very healthy area. I mean, our numbers aren't terrible for a county of 2 million, and so because of that, we were actually the only team in the entire MLS not to get to level 3 or phase 3, before we even went to Orlando, and that's okay. We took that however we could. I mean, when it's out of your control, you just say, all right, well, what can we do? And so we took advantage as best we could of these small group trainings and individual trainings, and those were some long days for the guys. I mean, you go 3 months of not doing anything, now you're given an opportunity to get on the field for a little bit, and it's just how much work can you get done to prepare for this 2-week mini preseason in Orlando and get ready. But a lot of it, and then trying to figure out the testing. I mean, after Orlando, it came down to, okay, we're playing this season. We're gonna do this. So now what? And so now we have this whole phase 3 we got to do. But a big part of that is testing. And when you're coming back to a county that's still having some shortages in test kits and availability to make sure the public's taken care of, we had to get creative and find a way to make sure that we don't take those resources away from the public. And that was a little difficult at first, but we were able to find that route, also with help from the MLS. And so we're pretty stringent on testing here, and that's given us a lot of safety in a way, but it's still, we always still fall back that I guess the strict rules that the county has, given to everybody has really reduced what we say is a temptation for players and staff and everyone around here is, we don't have the ability to go to many places and not wear a mask, other teams around the league are in areas where there are no mask rules. So the temptation to just go out to eat because everyone's going out there makes it pretty easy. And then you come back in the next day and oops, you have COVID, and now you just gave it away to all your teammates. So on the other side of that, what we had to do here is we got a little creative, and we're also fortunate enough because of our environment and our climate that we could move everything outside. And so moving our gym outside, not really using the locker room and just using the suites that all the fans usually sit at during the games. We use those suites as our lounge. We use the enclosed suites with doors open on both sides as our training room. So each room had one training table in it. So it'd be one person in there getting treatment, one person doing the treatment for them. But it's all open air, and it provided us another safety net, because obviously we know that if you're sitting in a small room for a long period of time, then you put yourself at risk. So, getting creative and just finding ways to reduce any risk of transmission has been the biggest thing. And then myself and our other athletic trainers at first have been performing all the tests as well. So all the nasal thing, PCR tests, we just calculated up the other day. Actually, we've done 1,800 tests.
Oh my God.
And that's a lot of nose poking. But
that first couple of round of testing, it was the one that went all the way back to your brain, and I could feel it the next day. I'm so glad that now it's the one that's a little less invasive. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big difference too from the very beginning of the entire pandemic to now, and the way they've changed the test kits is, some at the very beginning, it was, all the way back and for 10 seconds. And, we all experienced that with Sutter Health's help to test us right before we went back to training. And we all just kind of looked around like, how are we going to do this in Orlando every other day for up to 40 days? It was just, we were scared, we were worried. And honestly, you have problems too, where some guys, some players, some staff, they have easy nosebleeds. So
really,
how are you supposed to test someone's nose for this when it could cause a nosebleed easily? So we found ways to get around that. Fortunately, since it's only one nostril, we could always just do the other one. So, but just being careful with that stuff. And
goodness.
But now you don't have to go as far and poke the brain anymore. So we're good
no
there.
poking of the brain, please.
Yeah.
How were those first 3 months? So you, just like everybody else, were home all day, every day, right? So you were able to be around your wife a lot, and then all of a sudden, bam! Sorry, honey, I'm leaving for a month or maybe longer.
Yeah.
Were you guys sick of each other? And then it was oh, thank God I'm getting out of the house. And then it was no, we're away too long, and now I miss you. And yeah.
Well, we kind of went through both in a sense, because my wife, actually, she's in the medical field, so she didn't even stop working herself. So that was kind of weird. I'm sitting here in charge of some of the health of everybody, but yet my wife is going to work throughout this entire pandemic, and she's seeing patients all the time, and she's doing surgeries, and she got furloughed for a little bit. So that's why I say we got to experience a little bit of that, where she got furloughed for a couple of weeks, 3 times a week. And so she only had to go in twice. So it was nice to be able to see each other, because during the season, I'm usually gone all the time on the weekends, and we don't get that time together. So we definitely enjoyed that. And then she started going back to work full time. And then it was, oh man, we're not seeing each other much. And then all of a sudden, now I'm gone. And that was, I don't care what anybody says, every player, every staff, whoever who had family during that time, and maybe even players, single guys who had dogs, I don't know, talk to Luis Felipe.
I know, I was going to say Luis Felipe.
He loves dog, right?
That dog too.
So it's tough to sit there and say goodbye. I'll see you in at least a month, and I think what's most, I think it's a little tough for us because the longest preseason we ever do is 15 days, like away in Cancun, right? And other teams around the league spend almost the entire preseason away because they're in the cold. And so I'd imagine for some of them, it was just like, well, it's unfortunate that we have to do another preseason, but we've already done 3 weeks at a time or 4 weeks. You know, they go for 2, come back for 2 days, then go back for another 2 weeks. So I wouldn't say that they had a slight edge, but they're kind of used to it in a sense. But for us, I mean, it was something new to say, like, we're actually gonna be gone longer than we've ever been gone before. And you know, that was the longest time period for myself that I've had gone not seeing my wife in person ever since the first day I met her.
Aww.
And so that was pretty wild.
I didn't know she was in the medical field.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you guys, during like this whole thing, would you ask her for advice on like, what the heck do I do with this, with the team? Like, what's the best way to do? Okay, good.
No, she's an orthopedic physician assistant.
Okay.
So she does orthopedic surgery, but you know, still like she's going to work down in Santa Cruz, and you know, she's got regular old people just coming in, and you just hope that nothing's going to happen. And you know, it's ironic. And then we get down to this part of the year, you know, she's still having to go to work, where I think most guys are fortunate where their wives don't go to work. Most of them probably work from home. But you know, here I am as the director of health and performance, and I'm the one dealing with my wife going to work and seeing patients every day. And so, you know, it's just, she does a very good job of taking care of herself there. And that's, you know, if you look at all the medical offices and stuff, they do a great job of like making sure they're very careful of that stuff. So we've never had any issues there.
Well, amazing. 2020, man. What a year.
I know.
Okay, random question for you, D-Law, as we starting to wind down this podcast. Teach me something.
Teach you something. Oh, geez. Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know what I can teach you. Man. Let's see here.
We'll come back to that one.
Yeah.
What's your favorite memory with the earthquakes so far?
Favorite memory with the earthquakes. I don't want to be cliche and say like the classic hose. I mean, I get the playoff win here, or the game to put us into playoff. I mean,
2017.
Albeit the playoffs were very short-lived that year, and I don't know, you know, just the whole mess that went on after the win going into the playoffs. But I mean, that win was something else. I mean, the way we finished the game, and you know, just the idea that Wanda would actually pass the ball instead of shooting it as the last second to put us in the playoffs. I mean, it's baffling to many other people. But you know, thankfully he did. And, you know, I still think that it was an own goal, but we'll give it to Marco. If you actually look at the replay, I think the defender kicked it in, but the shot was on frame. So
I've actually never noticed that before. I'm gonna have to look back on that and like check that out. That's actually my favorite memory. Yeah. And it's funny because I was so mad that day because Mac used to produce the home shows, and that was the year that we started kind of switching it off. And I went up there the second half of the game to produce, and he got to be on the field. So he got to celebrate with everybody on the field while I was up there working. I was so mad. I was like, I should be down there right now. But anyway, oh my God, these dogs will not be quiet. Yeah. This was a bad idea to do it outside.
Nah, it's okay.
All right, Dila. Well, do you have anything else to share with us before we get out?
No, but I'll get back to you sometime and teach you something. So I feel really bad that I can't teach you anything.
Please
well,
do.
For me, it's like I got to teach you how to tape an ankle or something. So
that's true. Yes, I would. Yeah, because I roll my ankles a lot because I'm a klutz. But anyway, all right, Dila. Well, thank you for joining me today. This has been another wonderful edition of Off Pitch 74, presented by the City of San Jose Environmental Services, and we will see you next time. Ta-ta.